The Carolina Panthers have just signed linebacker Deion Jones to a contract, and I'm going to talk about today why I think this is a very interesting move revolving the current state of the team, and also why this player may be a very good scheme fit with the linebackers that are already in this room. So starting off, we are very familiar with Deion Jones. This is a guy that was a very good player for the Atlanta Falcons, had his last stint with the Cleveland Browns, and with just releasing Bravion Roy, now you're hearing Coach Frank Reich talk about McQuan McCall. And these are some of the things that kind of get your mind running as to, okay, we see a move is about to be made. And I don't know if people were really sure where the move would be made, but we knew a move would be made. Now, still some things I want to question in this secondary, but we're hearing Dante Jackson getting back to form, CJ Henderson making some flashes. So when I talked about my last video, the Carolina Panthers are building a monster, I talked about this linebacker core and I said I got questions. Now, I like the first two guys in Shaq Thompson and Frankie Louvu, and I also like Camu Grugier-Hill, who's showing flashes in training camp. But I knew that Chandler Wooten, Brandon Smith, those are some very interesting players, but I think that you needed that player who you kind of knew in this room, because while being Brandon Smith, a very athletic linebacker, I feel more comfortable with Deion Jones now in this room, and that's not to say he's going to win the job. There's some other guys in this room who could still compete. We don't have nothing out, but still saying that he's a very good coverage linebacker. We know the interceptions, and we're going to get into the stats, but bringing him into this scheme now with Camu Grugier-Hill, watch some more film on him, a very good downhill run stuffer. So now having Frankie Louvu, Shaq Thompson. Frankie Louvu is going to be the wild card in this thing, kind of asked to stop the run, but also asked to get after the passer, get after the quarterback and blitz in some situations. So now we have kind of a perfect balance. I think that these are my top four guys in the room right now. Shaq Thompson can still cover at this day and age, but Deion Johnson may rival for the best coverage linebacker on the team, although being a new piece. So when we look at the state of this room, I want to talk about Deion Jones' stats, understanding what type of player is being brought in. And we really want that player that we saw in Atlanta. Now, with the Cleveland Browns, I don't know if that was the best fit for me personally. I see Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and I think that they're kind of not the same player, but I see a lot of similarities in each other's game when I talk about those two linebackers, and albeit different roles, I just don't know if that was the perfect scheme and team for him. So now we know what he was in Atlanta, and I want to talk about those stats. His best season being having 138 tackles, had 3 interceptions on that season, and also he's a guy who can get to the end zone. Had a lot of touchdowns in his career. We see 2 in one season, 1 in one season, and 1 in the other 2 seasons. So now having that, when we look at this player, I think that we already got the defensive line. We're looking to see who's going to be that edge rusher to really dominate alongside Brian Burns. And we're looking at the secondary, still seeing some things panning out there. Really like the safety room, but particularly corner. And now Deion Jones being the newest addition in the room. How do you guys feel about this? How do you feel about the linebacker room now that Deion Jones has been brought into it? Right here you can see the stats, and really talking about this also along with the depth chart. I think this was kind of what the doctor ordered. Really one of those perfect pieces to put in for me. Like I said, we don't know if he's still that same player that he was in his prime at Atlanta, but if he hits that ceiling, if he gets to at least 80% of that, along with what's already here, this is a very good linebacker that could add into this room. Now, you're probably wondering, where's the film? We want to see some film on this guy. Interesting note that I want to announce right here today. I will be bringing back the series What to Expect. As you guys know, I'm heading out to Carolina Panthers training camp starting Friday for the weekend. And before I get out there, I want to do that. Now, I understand bringing in Ejiro Evero as that defensive coordinator, there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of things that he's inheriting. And we're going to talk about all of that in the video. And really, if you want to see how we go about that process, it's really I wouldn't say a long process, but a strategic process in which we break down all of the things that you want to know about the defense, all of the certain players and certain weaknesses and strengths of said scheme, and we're going to dive into it. So that's going to be coming out later in this week, probably aiming for Thursday right now, and that will be Deion Jones' film included in that because I think he's a key piece to this linebacker core. What do you guys rate the move? What do you think? I love the move. Let me know.